Welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into something really cool, generative AI, and how it's changing the game in biology. You know how AI is used in things like self-driving cars and making art? Well, it's also doing some mind-blowing stuff in the world of biology. We're talking about designing new proteins from scratch, creating artificial life in labs, and even speeding up drug discovery. This isn't science fiction. It's happening right now. And it's about to revolutionize how we understand and interact with life itself. So, buckle up, because we're about to explore the future of biology. All right, let's start with the basics. Proteins. They're like the tiny machines that make life happen, and they're everywhere, from your muscles to your immune system. Now, imagine if we could design brand new proteins with specific functions, like super efficient enzymes for biofuels or targeted therapies for diseases. That's where generative AI comes in. These AI models, think GANs or VAEs, learn the complex language of protein folding. They analyze massive datasets of existing proteins and figure out the rules of how those intricate three-dimensional structures come together. Then, they use this knowledge to create completely new protein sequences, essentially writing the code for life itself. And the crazy part? These AI-designed proteins aren't just theoretical. They're actually being synthesized in labs and tested for real-world applications. We're talking about potential breakthroughs in medicine, agriculture, and even materials science. It's like having a digital toolbox that lets us tweak and optimize the building blocks of life itself. But it gets even more interesting. Generative AI isn't just limited to designing individual proteins, it's being used to create entire genetic circuits. These circuits are like tiny biological programs that can be inserted into cells, turning them into miniature factories. Imagine cells that produce life-saving drugs, break down pollutants, or even generate light, all thanks to AI-designed genetic circuits. This is synthetic biology at its finest, and generative AI is the driving force behind it. And here's the kicker. AI isn't just designing these circuits, it's also optimizing them. It can analyze thousands of potential designs, tweaking and refining them to make them more efficient, reliable, and predictable. This means we can move from idea to working prototype much faster, accelerating the pace of discovery and innovation in synthetic biology. You might have heard of AlphaFold, the AI that cracked the protein folding problem. It was a huge deal because knowing a protein's structure is key to understanding how it works. But here's the thing. AlphaFold is great at predicting the shape of known proteins, but what about proteins that haven't been discovered yet? That's where generative AI takes center stage. Think of it this way. AlphaFold is like a detective solving a case based on existing evidence. Generative AI is like a novelist, creating entirely new stories, or in this case, proteins. These AI models don't just predict, they imagine, they invent. They explore the vast space of possible protein structures, generating new hypotheses for how proteins could fold and function. This is like giving scientists a superpower, allowing them to explore uncharted territories in the protein universe. They can test these AI-generated protein designs in the lab, potentially discovering new functions and mechanisms that we never even knew existed. This has huge implications for drug discovery, where understanding how proteins interact is crucial for developing effective therapies. But it goes beyond drug discovery. Generative AI can help us understand the fundamental principles of life itself. By exploring the space of possible proteins, we can get closer to answering questions like, what are the limits of protein folding? How did life on Earth evolve? It's like having a time machine that lets us peek into the past and glimpse into the future of biology. In the world of AI, data is king. The more data you have, the better your models perform. But in biology, getting high-quality data can be incredibly difficult, time-consuming, and expensive. This is especially true for rare diseases, where patient data is scarce. But what if we could generate synthetic data that's just as good as the real thing? Well, you guessed it, generative AI to the rescue. Imagine you're a researcher studying a rare genetic disorder. You need a large data set to train your AI models to diagnose the disease early or predict its progression. But there are only a handful of patients with this disorder worldwide. This is where generative AI steps in. By learning the patterns and relationships within the limited real data, it can create synthetic datasets that mirror the statistical properties of the original data. This synthetic data preserves the privacy of the original patients while providing researchers with the large datasets they need to develop accurate and reliable AI models. It's like having a data multiplier, allowing scientists to overcome the limitations of scarce biological data and accelerate research in areas where traditional methods fall short. And it's not just about quantity. Generative AI can also improve data quality. It can fill in missing values, correct errors, and even simulate different experimental conditions, leading to more robust and reliable research findings. Drug discovery is a notoriously long and expensive process, often taking years and billions of dollars to bring a single new drug to market. But generative AI is poised to change that. Imagine an AI that could analyze millions of chemical compounds, predict their biological activity, and even suggest novel drug candidates, all in a fraction of the time it takes using traditional methods. That's the power of generative AI in drug discovery. These AI models act like super-powered chemists, sifting through vast chemical libraries and identifying promising molecules that could interact with specific disease targets. They can even design completely new drug candidates, exploring chemical structures that have never been synthesized before. But it's not just about finding new drugs. Generative AI can also optimize existing ones. It can analyze a drug's structure and suggest modifications that might improve its efficacy, reduce its side effects, or even overcome drug resistance. This is like having a personalized medicine chef, tailoring drugs to individual patients based on their genetic makeup and specific needs. And here's the best part. Generative AI is already making waves in the pharmaceutical industry. Companies are using it to develop new antibiotics, antiviral drugs, and even cancer treatments. It's still early days, but the potential of AI-powered drug discovery is enormous, promising faster cures, more effective treatments, and a brighter future for patients worldwide. Gene therapy holds immense promise for treating genetic disorders by correcting faulty genes at their source. But designing safe and effective gene therapies is incredibly complex, like trying to reprogram the software of life itself. But what if we could enlist the help of AI to design these genetic therapies? That's where generative AI is making a real difference. Imagine an AI that could analyze a patient's genetic mutation and design a personalized gene therapy tailored to their specific needs. That's the kind of precision medicine that generative AI can enable. These AI models can design DNA or RNA sequences that can be delivered into cells to correct faulty genes, essentially rewriting the code of life to treat disease. But it goes beyond just fixing broken genes. Generative AI can also be used to enhance existing gene therapies, making them more targeted, efficient, and long-lasting. It can optimize the delivery systems for gene editing tools like CRISPR, ensuring that the therapeutic genes reach the right cells without causing unwanted side effects. This is like having a genetic engineer on demand, designing custom-made gene therapies for individual patients. It's still an emerging field, but the potential is huge. Generative AI could pave the way for a new era of personalized gene therapies, offering hope for patients with previously untreatable genetic disorders. Ever wondered how life on Earth became so diverse, or how antibiotic resistance emerges so quickly? Understanding evolution is crucial for tackling some of the biggest challenges facing humanity today, from combating infectious diseases to adapting to climate change. But studying evolution in real time can take thousands, even millions of years. That's where generative AI comes in. It's like having a time machine for biology. Generative AI can create realistic simulations of evolutionary processes, compressing millions of years into days or even hours. These simulations can model how populations of organisms might evolve under different environmental pressures, such as exposure to antibiotics, climate change, or even competition for resources. This allows scientists to study evolution in fast forward, observing how genetic mutations arise and spread through populations over generations. They can test different scenarios and see how these virtual organisms adapt and evolve, providing valuable insights into the mechanisms of evolution itself. But it's not just about understanding the past. Generative AI can also help us predict the future of evolution. By simulating how pathogens might evolve resistance to drugs, scientists can stay one step ahead, developing new antibiotics and antiviral therapies before resistance even emerges. Medical data is incredibly sensitive and personal. Sharing it for research is crucial for advancing healthcare, but it also raises significant privacy concerns. Generative AI offers a solution, creating synthetic patient data that protects privacy while still enabling groundbreaking research. Imagine a world where researchers could access vast data sets of synthetic patients, each with a unique medical history, genetic profile, and response to treatments, all without ever compromising the privacy of real individuals. That's the power of generative AI in healthcare. These AI models can learn the statistical properties of real patient data and generate synthetic data sets that mirror those characteristics. The synthetic data preserves the relationships between different variables, such as age, lifestyle factors, genetic predispositions, and disease outcomes, without containing any personally identifiable information. This means researchers can use synthetic data to develop and validate new diagnostic tools, personalize treatment plans, and even predict disease outbreaks, all while safeguarding patient privacy. It's a win-win situation, accelerating medical research while upholding ethical considerations. Imagine a future where we can grow organs in a lab, eliminating the need for organ donors and revolutionizing transplant medicine. That's the promise of tissue engineering, and generative AI is playing a key role in making this vision a reality. One of the biggest challenges in tissue engineering is designing the intricate three-dimensional structures that make up our organs. These structures, known as scaffolds, provide the framework for cells to grow and organize into functional tissues. Generative AI is like a master architect for tissue engineering, designing optimal blueprints for these cellular scaffolds. These AI models can analyze biological data, such as medical images and tissue samples, to understand the complex architecture of organs. Then, they use this knowledge to generate designs for three-dimensional printed scaffolds that mimic the natural structure and function of the organ being engineered. But it's not just about replicating existing organs. Generative AI can also be used to design entirely new types of tissues with enhanced properties. Imagine tissues that are more resilient, better at regenerating, or even capable of performing new functions. The possibilities are endless. The COVID-19 pandemic highlighted the devastating impact of emerging infectious diseases. But what if we could predict and prevent pandemics before they even begin? Generative AI is giving us a powerful tool in the fight against infectious diseases. Generative AI models can analyze vast amounts of genomic data from viruses and bacteria, learning the patterns and mutations that drive their evolution. By simulating how these pathogens might mutate, scientists can identify potential pandemic threats before they emerge. But it's not just about prediction. Generative AI can also help us develop more effective vaccines and treatments. By understanding how pathogens might evolve resistance, scientists can design vaccines and drugs that target multiple strains or even anticipate future mutations. This proactive approach to pandemic preparedness could save countless lives and prevent future global health crises. Generative AI is like a crystal ball for infectious diseases, giving us a glimpse into the future of pathogen evolution and empowering us to stay one step ahead. As we've seen, generative AI is revolutionizing biology in countless ways. From designing new proteins to predicting pandemics, AI is accelerating scientific discovery and transforming healthcare as we know it. But this is just the beginning. As AI technology continues to advance, we can expect even more groundbreaking applications in the years to come. Imagine a future where AI helps us understand the origins of life, engineer new life forms, or even reverse the aging process. The possibilities are truly limitless. But with great power comes great responsibility. As we venture into this uncharted territory, it's crucial that we consider the ethical implications of these powerful technologies. We need to ensure that generative AI is used responsibly and equitably, benefiting all of humanity. By fostering open collaboration, ethical guidelines, and responsible innovation, we can harness the power of AI to create a healthier, more sustainable future for all. And that's a wrap on how generative AI is revolutionizing biology. From designing life-saving drugs to predicting the next pandemic, AI is changing the game in ways we never thought possible. But this is just the beginning. The future of biology is full of exciting possibilities, and we can't wait to see what breakthroughs lie ahead. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into the latest technological advancements. See you next time.